All right, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Mass Reviewer back again with another review, and today we are doing a review for The Bear Season 4. This is the currently the final season that has been released for The Bear, but there is going to be a Season 5 coming up. But anyway, I finally managed to finish watching Season 4 of The Bear, and it did take a bit longer than I was hoping because, you know, with all the, I did mention, like, all the moving stuff to the new setup and all that, and university and all that, but I did actually, I'm starting to get into a flow state right now where I am managing to balance both my schoolwork with my watches and stuff. So that is good, and hopefully that means I will just be able to get more reviews out in the future. So, but anyway, yeah, so we did watch The Bear, or I watched The Bear Season 4, and so let us just get into it, starting off with the plot. And this season, the plot is pretty much just more of the same of what we have been seeing up until this point. They're trying to make The Bear actually profitable and successful. This season specifically, they do add this element of there is a countdown element to it where Uncle Jimmy and the computer, they basically say, okay, we're gonna put a clock here, and it's gonna, like, for 2 months basically, and if this if the restaurant doesn't start making some profit after 2 months, then we are going to basically cut funding, basically. Like, you're not gonna have a parachute anymore. I think that's like what it was about. I might have misinterpreted what the countdown actually meant, but it was nice that there was like a bit of tension this season, where it's like in previous seasons, obviously there was tension, but this time, like, to have a physical countdown was good, I would say. And the rest of this, yeah, a lot of it was just basically more of the restaurant stuff. There's a lot of character development. I guess I'm going to talk about, once again, as usual, which I did with the previous reviews for the previous seasons. I will just talk about the characters and the plot intertwined. So, yeah, obviously you have Carmen in this season, and it's very good with his character, where there's a lot of, like, character moments in the season between a lot of characters, specifically in episode 7, The Bears, which is like the longest episode up until this point in the show. You do have a lot of character moments where it's like a lot of closure between characters, where you have, like, Carmen, he speaks with what was his name, Uncle, it was Bob Odenkirk's character, and I'm looking here what his name was. I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and it is a bit more difficult to find characters. Yeah, for some reason I cannot find Bob Odenkirk's character, but he played Uncle Lee, I'm pretty sure. So you do have, like, Carmen speaking with Uncle Lee, and then he kind of getting some closure about, like, his relationship with like what him and, like, Mike, because previously, last time we saw Uncle Lee and Mike, they were fighting, obviously, in, I think it was season 2 it was around. So you also have, like, at the end of the season, Donna, Carmen's mom, she does end up apologizing to Carmen about all of the stress that she ended up putting him through. And so there are some nice, like, Carmen, also at the end, like, Carmen, when he decides by the end of the season that he is going to leave the Bear and quit the restaurants, because he decided that it's, like, he doesn't love it anymore, and it is causing him too much stress, and he is stressing everyone around him out, and so he decided that it would be best if he would quit. And so honestly, it's kind of I don't know how much I love that decision, like, because up until this point, the entire point of the show was that it is Carmen, along with the rest of the crew, they are trying to make the Bear a success, but then you have by the end of the season, it's like, oh, I'm quitting and stuff. It's like, okay, well, these 4 seasons, what all of this was like, not for nothing, like, he does have, like, character development. I will say I am interested in what happens in the next season, like how they're gonna play this out. So, yeah, so besides that, you have, let's see here, Richie, he is good, as usual. He is still one of the best characters. I am going to do a character ranking, I think, in the next video, so I'm probably not going to speak too much about the characters now, but Richie is good as well. The whole thing with him this season was a lot to do with the wedding with his ex-wife, Tiff, right? Yeah, Tiff, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Tiffany. She is getting remarried to Frank, and so he was, like, dealing with having now his daughter having, like, a stepfather, as well as just Tiffany being remarried and stuff. So Richie, once again, great. Sid, very good this season with her and her father, as well as her coming to terms, like, not coming to terms, but she has a huge decision of if she wants to leave the Bear or not, to work for Adam Shapiro instead. The guy that, like, offered Sid to, he said, if you want to, like, I'm offering you like, to run your own restaurant, basically. So yeah, all the characters, honestly, I'm not going to speak too much about the characters. I still think that they are, I'm going to give it great. I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for the characters. I still think that all the characters are great, and yeah, overall, I'll get more in depth with it when I do the character ranking. So in terms of the plot of the season, I'm going to say that the plots are, I'd go, like, between, I'll say, like, pretty good. I'll give it, like, a 7 out of 10. I think that, yeah, all the episodes, they're pretty good. You know, each one focuses on a different thing. I think probably the best episode was the wedding episode. I do like the Berzotto episodes, like in season 2. I think it was called Fishes, where it's like the whole Christmas party thing. And I did like in this season, there was the Bears. I like all the episodes where it's like you just have all the family coming together of the Berzottos, as well as like some other people that are like really kind of connected to the Berzottos in one way or another. I do like those episodes. And so this one was another great one. I do think that this season definitely had a lot less cooking than previous seasons. Like, it does feel like the show really kind of is focusing a lot more on character developments and character moments. So you do have like an episode that is completely focused on Sid with her cousin's daughter. It would be her niece, I think, or her second cousin, something like that. So you do have like episodes that are focused a lot more on characters this time around rather than actual like, it feels like there's not as much restaurant stuff, which you could say ever since season 3 there has been like kind of the restaurant stuff has been a bit lacking. But yeah, so overall I'm just gonna give the plot a 7 out of 10. I think it's still pretty good. Like, it's still entertaining to watch, but it is yeah, I'm just gonna call it pretty good, 7 out of 10. In terms of the settings, there's not really any settings to mention. Like, you do still have the Bear restaurant, which still is a nice setting. Other than that, you have the wedding episode that takes place like in a wedding venue, I guess. But other than that, there really aren't any there's really like not any settings to mention per se. So I'm just gonna give the settings like I'll be generous, I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. I'll say it's like above average to settings, but you really just don't have anything new or interesting for the settings. So yeah. In terms of the drama, I will say the drama is I'll go with like a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. I do think that it does feel a bit lacking this season, because up until this point, I'm pretty sure at the end of each season, the final episode was like very dramatic. It felt like, where it's like at the end of season 2, you had Carmen getting trapped in the fridge. At the end of season 3, it was like his mentors, not his mentors, but like that, I forgot you had the restaurant that shut down, and then Carmen confronting his old boss, the person that like caused him so much stress, basically. So you don't have anything like that. At the end of the season, like, you do have the confrontation between Sid and Carmen, where it's like basically Sid confronts him about it's like everything kind of comes out in the open, where Carmen says like, I'm leaving, and then Sid finally acknowledges that like she had the opportunity to leave the restaurant as well. So but it does feel like this season is a bit less dramatic than some of the previous seasons. There is still, like, when there is drama, it is still like pretty good, I'd say. So I'm just going to say a 7 out of 10 for the drama. It's still pretty good, but it is definitely not as good as it got in previous seasons. I thought, like, there's even the fighting, it kind of feels like there's less. So like, there's still a lot of fighting, but it doesn't feel as potent, I want to say, as it did in some of the previous seasons. So the worst thing about this, I don't really have a worst thing in mind. I'm just going to say that there are some scenes that are a little slow, like the pacing for certain scenes. I do drag on a bit, so I'm just going to give that a 5 out of 10. Like, it's not good, but it's not terrible. It doesn't really ruin anything, but I do want to mention, yeah, it does, like, there are some certain scenes, like in the final episode, like a lot of the scenes where, and this isn't new, like in the previous season, you also had like the episode between Donna and Natalie where they're just in the hospital, and the episode's like 40 minutes for some reason, and there's still like some stuff like that where you just have these episodes that they could be condensed. Like, you can cut out a bit of this, and certain stuff just does feel like it drags on just a bit too long. So because the pacing is, yeah, I'm going to give the pacing like a 5 out of 10. It's not good. It's not like terrible though, so I'm gonna give it a 5. In terms of the best thing, I'm going to say I'll probably just like reuse the best score again. Once again, the characters are still great. I still like all the characters. They are very much entertaining, all of them. And by this point, we've been with the characters so long that it's interesting to see their development, their relationships with other characters, how it changes and stuff. And yeah, overall, once again, the characters are my favorite thing about this show. I would say an 8 out of 10, and I will get more into them with the next video, which is going to be the character ranking. So yeah, that is all the categories. So I'm going to do the calculations. So King Crimson. All right, I accidentally stopped the recording because ever since I'm in this new setup, I have the camera flipped, so that way, like, when I want to press the stop button, I don't want to have to, like, you see my hand, it like goes to the other side of the screen, and I don't want that to show up, so I have the camera flipped. Anyway, the point is I accidentally stopped the recording, so I had to start a new recording, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to like connect the 2 recordings and editing, so it's not a big issue. Anyway, it comes out to about a 7 out of 10, which would be pretty good. And honestly, I was talking about my sister before I watched the final episode. I said I think I might end up giving it like a 7.5 so far, but I still think I'm going to keep it with a 7 out of 10, because to be honest, I think that this is probably my least favorite finale out of any of the Bear seasons. I don't actually remember what the finale for season 1 was, so I'm actually just going to check real quick, so just give me a second here. Right, so yeah, even after checking, I still think that season 1, the finale, was better. So I do think that this is probably the weakest finale, honestly, out of all of the seasons. So because of that, that's probably what's preventing it from me giving this a 7.5. So I think, as usual, I'm just going to give this season another 7 out of 10. I think this show, over the course of the 4 seasons, it has just been consistently, it's a pretty good show. I would not call it better than that, though. So, hopefully season 5, when it comes around, hopefully we'll start seeing some, like, I don't know, maybe they'll manage to break the 7 out of 10 trend, and we'll get to see something higher than that. And yeah, so, but overall, yeah, I would give this the season a 7 out of 10. And so, yeah, pretty good. So if you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, web series, anything that you want me to review, leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. But with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.